So what's up, everybody? Y'all seen the video that I did on Ynw Melly's case. I've been covering the case for a little minute. Trap reached out to me based on the video, and we're gonna pop it off like this. First and foremost, I wasn't the one that found the paperwork. That was somebody named King AK-47, who I had no idea about. I seen this case on Instagram. Rap House TV posted it saying Trap was snitching, and I decided to jump into it like I do a lot of Florida cases since I know how to pull paperwork. But Trap, now me and you are here to clear up a lot of the misconceptions that we spoke on. You hit me up the day I dropped the video. We spoke that night. We were supposed to do this interview last night, but we're here tonight. So let's jump right into it. More or less in the video I made, I said, I don't think you snitching, but I said, I believe you cooperated by handing over the cell phone in Melly's case. And more or less, when we spoke on the phone, you had information that wasn't in the actual paperwork on why you was in the prosecutor's office to begin with. So let's jump right into it and hear your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, really, the narrative of me snitching on my client and on my brother is so far-fetched. It's impossible for anyone around me or anybody that's just around every day consistently to see how much work I put in with Melly and how much work after he got incarcerated. So that's so beyond impossible for me to do that. But I could see where when you pull up a document and it says that, item been turned into authority, you consider that cooperating, you consider that snitching. I could see where the people get that misconception from. But like I've been saying if you could look at the court documents, you can look at the cases, you can look at multiple sources, the officials believe that in the beginning of the whole trial that I was on some trying to mislead the investigation, or my client was on some trying to, leave the place of the crime, leave the country, or that sort of narrative, when in reality, things happen. Things happen where it's unconditional, and certain situations look crazy when it's not explained or when it's not situated. And I'm not even referring to the snitching allegations. I'm referring to officials actually believing that the day after the incident, me and my client could be potentially doing illegal activities instead of doing his job and my job. So exactly. That's where the phone situation came in at, where they're like, hey, why did you even bring the phone into the business or to the authorities, or why did you go there? Listen, you guys got to remember, just like a document says, every item that's been obtained by any officials came through a search warrant or order. Nothing was willingly given. So that alone, which I appreciate when you was explaining, you was like, hey, nothing came from this man that he didn't physically have to order or to go give. So for you guys that are saying, you gave the phone, you should throw it away. Who to say that anything's damaging on the phone to me or my client at the time of our acknowledgement? So to this day, I believe my client is innocent. That's my truth. Everybody can have their own opinion on it because you're entitled to. But when it comes time to the final verdict, it's up to the judge, up to God. No, and that's something that's gonna happen whether you like it, I like it, or the whole world like it. There's gonna be a verdict. But my truth is my client is innocent. So there's no interest for me to go turn in an item to show my client in another light when, in general, me personally, my belief that he's innocent.
Now, going through the paperwork, when I do these videos from an unbiased perspective. I'm not picking a side. I'm not exposing. I'm going by the paperwork because that's the only perspective I can go off unless I reach out to the person. When I read the paperwork, like you said, a lot of the things that weren't included with the snitch allegations of you was the fact that the police painted a picture that you hid a murder weapon and you were in contact with Melly. Whether that's true or false, the narrative that they painted was that you were cooperating on behalf of Melly and going against the police trying to mislead the investigation. The thing is, though, when I said I believe you cooperated by handing over the phone, like you said, I didn't have the details behind how it actually played out. You was in the prosecutor's office because you were discussing Melly traveling to different states, which they assumed was him fleeing, when in all actuality, you had contracts being his manager for him performing or showing up in different locations for the purpose of business.
After an unfortunate incident, of course.
Yeah. Now, the cell phone situation. Anybody that's involved in some street shit, if people assume something goes down, you would get rid of everything. You're saying that the cell phone in which that they got from you, the prosecutors got from you, was not the same cell phone from the actual incident, correct?
This, you guys got to remember, this is still an ongoing trial. So everything, you know what I'm saying, is getting taken and getting screwed. But in reality, an incident like that happened, I'm pretty sure, innocent, not innocent, whatever you may think, I'm pretty sure nobody would come out with the same items they had, because you don't know what's going on. I wasn't there that night to know what happened, but I don't think Melly is thinking about, oh, bro, let me find my phone. Let me find that. He's trying to take cover for his life when the incident happened.
And even if it didn't happen, the fact that he's being accused of it, I would still go and get another phone just because of the accusations and the fact that I know police are going to be in my shit regardless. I would want another phone. But so one major, go ahead.
To assume that the same phone that Melly had would be the same phone for the incident, I don't think that logically makes sense either way around the board. If you paint him innocent, if you paint him guilty, whatever your opinion is, I don't believe he would have the same phone. Do you? I'm gonna leave that question up to you guys, because it's an ongoing case. So I'm not gonna over detailedly put information out there that don't need to be put out there.
Right. Now, regarding the cell phone, like I said in the video that I made, according to the prosecutors, the cell phone itself is the biggest piece of evidence against Melly. And I've been covering Melly's case for a minute. I honestly believe he's innocent. I don't believe they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed anything that they're saying that he did. But with the cell phone, I know how a lot of this shit works. I've been locked up. I've been hit with search warrants. I've been to prison. I know how to go through the paperwork, right? When they do a cell phone extraction, they get everything off a phone, whether it's been deleted or not. And like I said in my video, I don't believe that you intentionally did anything that would harm his case. And the simple fact that everyone around him and in different circles still associate with you, it's pretty obvious to see that nothing you've done has harmed his case, or he hasn't said anything you've done has harmed his case, because everybody still fucks with you. But it does say in the paperwork, the video that he made of him pointing his finger that the state is trying to use against him, saying that that was a confession of him committing the 2 murders, it does say that that specific video came from that specific cell phone.
Yeah, and it also says that on that particular video, Melly confessed to the murder. So why are we even waiting a trial if he confessed to the murder?
Mm-hmm.
If he already confessed in the video and they have a live confession, aren't he already guilty with his own words?
I mean, it sounds like bullshit to me, the whole video itself, but the fact that it's saying the video itself came from the cell phone, you know what I mean?
I get it. No, I get it. And here's the thing, like I spoke to Jace, like I told you, I get it. When you see things with no perception, you see things when it's written and it's just situated that, then obsessions and speculations could come around. But we have to realize, like, the same way they're referring to the evidence on the cell phone is the prominent evidence he's allegedly confessing, is the same way that the music video Murder My Mind that's been out while the clients are in the video that's claiming that was a premeditated, is the same thing that any lyrics involved with him talking about gang related activities or anything conspicuous is going to be determined against him. So that's their job. That's the officials. That's the DA. That's their job to paint my client on a bad image and to paint whoever around him on a bad image. So anything they're going to put out there is for the narratives to shift. But you guys are looking at Melly's situation as he's guilty or he's innocent, and that's okay from your perspective. Of me being his brother, me being his client, me being around him every day, there's nothing in my mind that tells me my client is guilty. So I will never approach any situation with that mind frame to turn in an item, to be on paperwork. That's why everything the officers need from me is going to come from an order or some type of way, because there's nothing you could ask. So tell me that's going to tell me different that my client is innocent, because it's innocent.
Exactly. And I mean, the majority of the information that they list in the paperwork, they don't actually need a cell phone for. All the GPS coordinates, the calls, the text messages, all that comes from a warrant towards the actual cell phone company. So they don't even need the phone for anything like that. The only thing that they actually got of value that they believe is that video.
It's the story. Not, and really, I'm gonna be real, it's not even the video of it, it's the storyline of, yo, this man have a phone that he recorded himself saying something. It's just the plot, and the scenario of it seems so much bigger to the outside. By the time you get to a jury, they are trying to convince, they're trying to get him convinced by the peers, by his peoples, so that way it's already a narrative and it's easier to pin. But when you look at the details of the case, and this is just me not being in a legal field, just being a common sense person, Melly's innocent.
Mm-hmm. Now, another aspect of it that wasn't covered through the paperwork that me and you spoke on through the phone, and another reason why I believe so many people jumped on, oh, you snitching, is the fact that there was no legal action taken against you, but in fact, they actually tried to deport you back to Haiti, right?
They actually had me on immigration hold for a couple months and came multiple times with nothing with immigration, just strictly about the case. Some could say it's to squeeze, some could say it's to get information from a honor and Biden citizen, whichever way they wanna propel it. But yes, I did get detained and immigration hold, and my freedom was at risk.
Yeah, so I think that's an important part to hear from your perspective, due to the fact that everyone's just looking at it like, oh, he wasn't facing nothing, or, oh, if they're trying to say that he hit a murder weapon and he did this and that, how come he didn't get hit with charges? When in fact, they had you in immigration and were pressing you, trying to get whatever they could get. But the story of the actual cell phone and the prosecutor's office, could you just run us through that real quick, through your perspective, and how it actually happened?
Well, with the phones, you know what I'm saying? With Melly case, it's not something where he got picked up. It's something where he willingly turned himself in. And you know, I was there by his side through that whole process. Myself, his family, close friends, and his items, of course, is being left under my care, just to communicate with his business, communicate with his personal. You know, he may have Thug number, Lil Baby number, Dirk number, and his phone. Rather than his manager call, you feel more comfortable when he called from his phone. You're like, oh, Melly called. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a quicker way of communications. If you want to speak to his friends or whoever else he's speaking to, we communicate through the phone. So in reality, my whole purpose of having his phone on me is just as much as me having my phone on me, because he's calling collect call. I cannot call him. So it's on me 24/7. Whenever he calls, the money go through his phone. I pick up, yo, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Whatever we got to do. You want to speak to somebody, or you want to check his Instagram, or you want to see some Instagram models or whatever, it goes through his work. So me going to the prosecutor office to just situate, like I once again, to show that, look, anything that happens the day after the incident, because the officials is humans, like as well. So of course, if their narrative is this man is a murderer, then everything else that comes through that day is going to be suspected as such. So for me to go to show, like, look, the day after and situating the next days afterwards, is all documented events, from live shows, from features, the videos, to show that my client had no intent of leaving anywhere, but was just fulfilling his commitments in his job. And in the process of that happening, you can't time when someone call you from jail. It's not like it's a schedule. So he called, pick up, you know what I'm saying? Pick up the phone. They ask why you have so many phones. Me and my acknowledgement, you already raided my house. You got everything you needed. You been search warrant everything. You feel like you got occupied. So me and my client acknowledge this phone is not no problem. So hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. What's the purpose of me there to lie to you here? What I'm gonna be like, hey, this is another phone? No, this is my client's phones. I have multiple clients, not just one phone. I have my business phone, multiple artists. If I have different things of theirs, so they're like, hey, okay, so give us the phone. Look to my lawyer, and once again, like, why do I got to get a phone if they already had everything that they need? And 20, 30 minutes later, and you done been incarcerated and had situations. There's a lot of theory that you can't come up with an order that fast. That's a lie. It takes 20 to 30 minutes to come up with an order.
There's been cases with emergency warrants. I myself never found myself in a situation like that, but you'll have incidences where if somebody just flames somebody up and runs in their house, the police will get an emergency warrant to search the house to recover the gun. But did you actually get served the paperwork for the warrant for the phone? Because I couldn't find that online under his name or yours.
No, everything, like you see, it says ordered, and nothing was given willingly. So that still shows you that there was a search warrant, or was an order for the phone. So physically there at the office with the prosecutor, they handed the document over to myself and my attorney, and we had to give the phone. I had to get the phone. At first, at the gate, if you ask, so let me get the phone. No, why? I'm not gonna give you the phone. Why you need the phone? It's a regular, there's nothing on the phone, it's a regular phone. But once they did the search order in the warrant, boom, I had to give it to them. And it wouldn't make sense not to give it to him if my client is innocent. Like, there's no reason to.
Well, yeah, because that right there, they would use that against you as if there's something on that phone that's going to be used, like as if you're trying to hide some shit. But
which would try to paint him in a bad image all around the board when there's nothing there.
That's why I said, like I said, bro, I said in the video, I don't think you intentionally did anything. That's why I didn't come out and say, oh, you snitching. So when you see snitching in my thumbnail, it's above the other motherfucker who I'm not even going to name that we spoke about, who clearly gave information above and beyond whether it's true or false, but he was more than willing to say a whole lot of shit he really didn't need to say. Do you feel...
And if you look at the document, the same individual you're referring to is also telling and situating that I had way more intent than I needed or than I wanted to have with the case.
Yeah.
So
he said the majority of shit against you. So he was talking bad about you and Melly, trying to paint his own picture. And I mean, I don't know if he's trying to save himself or whatever the situation is, if he found himself in a situation. But do you feel any way responsible for unintentionally handing over the phone that has a video in which prosecutors are now trying to use against Melly?
The same video is on Instagram. It's just, like I said, they're going to make the dialogue. They're not going to say, hey, this video was on Mr. Jamel or Melly Instagram on this day and that day. No, they're going to say it came from his phone because it sounds more menacing. It sounds more like, oh, this is actual thing. So it's the same. Any footage they're talking that's referring on the phone is already on social media. And why would my client himself have a video on his Instagram on his phone, tarnishing his credibility to the case? It's just complete nonsense. So no, there's no way that I feel any way because it's not that type of situation. It's when you say snitching, allegations, that's when you propel it to a whole different platform and you make it important. That's the same reason why me and Melly went 2 years and this was never a conversation. There's never no issue around anybody here, legally or personally, with nothing around us, because it's not a big deal. But when you highlight and you make it a big deal to the media, then you propel it to a whole different platform. And that was their goal.
Definitely. And as far as me and you, because they were talking about us on No Jumper, Adam 22 and all them. And they were referring to the Instagram post that you had made where you posted clips of my video. But when me and you spoke on the phone, you were actually saying you agreed with what I was saying in the video because I was bringing things to light that other people weren't speaking about. So do you want to go ahead and clear the air on that? Because I think there's...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know what I'm saying? With the video going on my Instagram, I actually used the clips that Jakes was referring to because he actually was making sense. And I think people, same way they took what you were saying and they took my post and made it into, oh, 100K track saying he ain't rocking with dude, he checking dude. Is the same way they take what you were saying and reversed it, because I guess nobody cares to see the good and the and the better in a situation. They rather see the worst because that's what sells. But it was never my intent to have everyone think that I was against what you were saying. There's certain parts that needed clarification, which I feel like we brought to the light. But nah, I agree with what you were saying. There is someone snitching on the case. Facts. And the shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Facts. But you guys taking the wrong narrative and pointing the wrong pictures because y'all don't care to throw stones at the person with nothing. Y'all care to throw stones at the people that you feel like is established because they're not regular. But no, we're regular people too, and you guys got to realize you gotta handle things a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But nah, ain't no problem. It's all love, bro. I rock what you were saying. Like I support what you're doing, and I support your platform. You know what I'm saying? And everybody need to realize, like, even a little or big, your voice matters. So don't influence situations that you don't even have full information on and make someone else's situation worse, even if it's not me or anybody in general. Just be careful what you know what I'm saying. Words do affect, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. And I mean, when I heard Adam 22 speaking on it, one thing that he said that I liked is I could have reached out to you before I even did the video, just to ask you for your perspective, whether that message went seen or not. And I told him, like, yo, I'm gonna apply that in the future because I could have definitely did that. But I appreciate you reaching out, and I respect that because we had that conversation and we're able to take the time to clear up some of the misconceptions, because a lot of people, before even watching the whole video, they just started dropping comments saying you snitched. Went inside of the actual fucking video and pointing out who's actually snitching, but it went over a lot of people's heads, either by choice or they just wanted to put it on you. So I appreciate
For sure.
platform and speaking on your behalf.
Nah, for sure. You already know, man. Free Melly, Long Live Kim Vaughn, and that's how we come in the whole 2021. You know what I'm saying? If everybody out here doing something positive, contribute to what you're doing, and stay out the way.
Definitely, bro. I'm gonna fuck with you.
All right, that part.